This episode of Smokin Sounds is brought to you by Tuber Storage, premium cigar storage built for cigar smokers who want style, protection, and freshness all in one setup. Give them a follow on Instagram at Tuber Storage or visit tuberstorage.com to upgrade the way you store your smokes. Use code SMOKIN15 at checkout for 15% off your order. Broadcasting from the International Tobacco Pouch House of Cigars, it's Smokin Sounds, baby! The world's second best cigar podcast for cigar and pipe enthusiasts and those looking to embark on a journey where smoke intertwines with sound. What's up, everybody? I'm Shawn, one of the hosts of Smokin Sounds, and joining me is a man who needs no introduction. He still has the prettiest moonsault in all of NPA. It's Justin.
Hello, everybody. It is so good to be here on this hot July day in Oklahoma. So I don't know what it is where you are, but here it is like so hot. The dog was chasing a cat. They're both walking. So anyway, so just love to be here. We're here at the Tobacco Pouch. We have the one and only Pipe Mike with us. He decided to sit down with us one time here, and a very special guest. We're just over the Moonflower to have this special guest with us.
I see what you did there, Pipe Yoda.
So go ahead, Shawn.
So Justin, should we bring him on the Smokin Sounds way? I mean, I think that's the only way we can do it, right?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our name is Smokin Sounds, and it is our privilege, our honor, our absolute pleasure to introduce a man who has helped redefine what premium boutique cigars can be.
ECW.
When cigar enthusiasts talk about legendary releases, when they debate the blends that change the game, when they discuss the brands that consistently deliver in the biggest moments, there is no one name that demands your respect more than Crowned Heads. And standing before us today is the legendary mastermind behind that legacy. Coming to us live from the intersection of Broadway and Tennessee Waltz, it's Mr. Jon Huber. What's up, brother?
I'm done. After that intro, I'm like, it's a wrap. I'm gonna actually screenshot that somehow and translate it, and that's gonna be my epitaph on my tombstone. That was it.
Hey, dude, look, I could
good
not.
Seeing you guys again.
It's so good to see you, man. And look, that's just a
nice.
small amount of the nice stuff we could say about you, brother. And like we were just saying when we had you on last time, I was nervous, man. I was getting to meet we were getting to meet you for the first time, and we just had such mad respect for you, and we loved your cigars, and we've since the last we spoke, we've had a chance to develop a friendship. We got to meet in person, and
yes, we did.
It's just so great to get to see your face. And
likewise, man. I've been looking forward to this one, just to see you guys again and just to actually virtually connect again. So
it's been a long time. It's been a real long. We were talking about the Broadway back, and so now we're all. Shawn and I, we're lighting up the Moonflower.
I heard there's a new cigar called the Moonflower. I've heard a couple of things about it.
It rings a bell.
Since you were clowning me out in front of my shop at 5 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did
awesome.
do that, didn't I?
Yeah. Did you see that, John? Shawn had that
Of course
really.
I saw it. I reshared it. I was like sending it to the sales team. I'm like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. You're a delight, Shawn. Honestly, you brighten my day, man. When I see your stuff, when I see your energy and your positive vibe, it makes me feel good, dude. I enjoy it. Not just because you're like so much in our cigars, but just your whole vibe is like it's a thing. And I really love you for that, man.
Well, I appreciate it. And I love you back, brother. Now I'm done. See, now that would be the end of this. No, I'm just kidding. But look, we were again. Still don't know how, but we were fortunate enough to be at PCA this year, and man, you guys work your ass off at that PCA. I don't know if you've not ever been, I don't know that people understand or can appreciate what you guys have to put in to that trade show. And your team is phenomenal.
It makes me feel good to hear you say that somebody actually recognizes it, because unless you're there and you're doing it, it's really difficult to have somebody understand what goes into it And that's my daughter because she has to get on camera.
Hey, my daughter does the
Thank
same
you.
thing. And I want to tell you, because we always say it's community, not competition. I was watching you with our friends over at the Down to Herf podcast, and my daughter's doing cheer as well. And just get ready, brother. If this is your first year of cheer, man, listen, there is no fear like the fear of a cheer mom. I'm just telling you right now. I've never learned to say yes, ma'am. I've never learned to say yes, ma'am so quick in my life, and here's my credit card number.
there. But no, going back to what you were saying, it is. It's like, unless you're there and you see what goes on. I mean, I can tell you this. The only time that I left our little domain, our booth, for 3.5 days or whatever it was to do the Boveda interview with Pete and Drew. And then I had a meeting with the Garcia family at the end. And other than that, it was just the bathroom. Yeah. And then even when I was in the bathroom, I had a guy ask me to do a picture. And I was just like, I'm flattered, but can we get out of the bathroom and do it somewhere like a little less intrusive? Wow. Yeah. But it is. It's just like, it's nonstop, man. Yeah. It's absolutely just nonstop, like bam, 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 bam. And it takes it out of you. And then, we came home, I think, on a Sunday evening. And by Monday morning, I was back in the office and working on 2027 stuff that we had finalized during the trade show. So it's a grind. But, but what keeps me going is seeing people like you guys. Because I remember I was walking into a meeting or down the hall, and I saw you, and you yelled at me like, dude, Shawn. That energy kept me going, and it's just kind of like it fuels you, and it feels good. And, it's a blessing to be able to be that busy, I guess.
Well, and your team, like, look, Miguel is phenomenal. Jake, Gio, obviously Brian. We didn't get to. I got to meet Brian. He was in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, so I took a break from work so I could go meet him. And Chad, your warehouse manager. I mean, hopefully I'm not forgetting. But just
you got that right.
Wonderful people, man. And I hope I'm not giving away any trade secrets here, John, but it seemed that your booth was beautiful, by the way. But it seemed to me that you guys even had like a conference room built into the booth, and I didn't know if that's like for meetings or stuff. But I was like,
yeah, it was.
It really is nonstop.
A quasi little sectional area where we would hold meetings, and we had. It used to be back in the day, like I would just show up and whoever grabbed me first or whatever, and then I'd do the thing. But now it's like we have our VP that's busy and tells, here's your calendar for the day. Here's the meetings that you need to be in. And then I try to work media in around that. And then, everything else that happens during the course of the event. But yeah, we have that little room with it's more like a curtain partition area with a conference room table and some chairs. And spent a good bit of time back there too. So it's good. We're getting there.
All right, so
baby steps.
So let's what we're all hitting today. So John, tell us about let's say someone not familiar with it because it's a new product. Tell us about the Moonflower. What's it? What's the inspiration, and then what kind of sets it apart, even from say other Crowned Head offerings?
I'm going to check my audio here for a second because my daughter's in on an iPad. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I just took the earpods out, so we're good. All right. So basically, there's a dual kind of an inspiration thing for me. The blend inspiration came from a cigar that we did with the Garcias back in 2015-16 called Las Mareas. And Las Mareas was a cigar that used all Nicaraguan tobaccos, all grown by the Garcias. Phenomenal blend, Corojo wrapper, grown in Namanji. And I was just like, I had such high expectations for this cigar. I thought this was the best thing we had done to that point. And it never gained traction to the point where we had to like just rationalize it and stop producing it. And I was like, God, I don't get it. But over the years, I saw there was like this little cult following for that brand. And people were like, when are you going to bring it back? When are you going to bring it back? And I even started joking with people online. I'm like, sign a petition. If you get 1,000 signatures, I'll bring it back, that kind of a thing. So in the back of my mind, I always knew that blend was special. And then, as we get closer to 2025, I had the meeting with, is the volume still messed up?
No, we're good. We're good.
No, we're
yeah,
good.
I'm
Go
fixing
ahead.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. Yep, keep going. Sorry.
her iPad feeds off of my. Anyway.
Yeah, I get it, brother. I 100%.
So yes, summers, man. I got to tell you. So anyway, last year at the end of the show in PCA, I met with the Garcias and I said, listen, I know we haven't done anything new with you guys since 2015, but I really want to do a new regular production cigar with you guys. And for the first time in a long time, they said yes, and I was just like, let's go. And they said, but you have to tell me what tobaccos you want to use within the next 30 days so that we can make sure we have enough yield and enough tobaccos, and then we can reserve them for you. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, this is exactly what I want. And I just rattled it off. It was basically the same blend as Moraes. And I said, we can, do a little variation on the theme, change a couple of things, but this is basically what I want. And they're like, okay, great. So that's how the blend inspiration came. The brand inspiration, I knew it was special, so I wanted to really kind of give it a reason to exist. And I ended up calling it Moonflower because when I first met my wife 16 years ago, I didn't know what a moonflower was. And I kind of thought that's special because how can you live for so long and not know certain things? And I'm like, I had no idea. And she showed me what these were. And they were basically night blossoms that she planted in her garden. And during the day, they would just be closed up like this. But at night, you'd go outside and they were like this beautiful flower that would open up. And she told me, these only open at night, and I keep the seeds from this year, and I'll store them away, and I'll plant them during growing season next year. And so she had this rotational crop of moonflowers, and I just thought, what a beautiful thing. And then I started to realize that moonflowers also were a symbol for overcoming challenging times, and they had a lot of mythological importance and what have you. And over the years, they became a kind of a symbol for our relationship, and I would kind of like always send her a text and say, love you to the moon and back, or then I'd be like, love you to the moonflower and back. And then eventually, I think it was 5 years ago, I got 2 of them tattooed on my hand with her name, one for her, one for me. Yeah, so they kind of came before the cigar. I thought that would be a fitting tribute and a nice little kind of reason for the brand to exist. And so that's what became of Moonflower. And then as far as that, then after that, I kind of came back in 2025 and wrote down a mood board and sent pictures and stories and all of these things to our designer, Juan Carlos, in the Dominican. And I said, this is my concept. This is what we're going to do. And when he sent me the first renderings of the rings and everything, I was just like, oh my God, this guy just absolutely captured everything I wanted to convey. Yeah. And did it to an amazing degree. So I couldn't be more proud of the project.
And I will tell you, as we were walking around the PCA, and Justin will be my witness here, we heard more people talking about the Moonflower. I keep saying this should be the cigar of 2026, and I mean it. I mean, I'm not just saying that to say it.
Thank you.
I think this is the cigar. Hell, this may even be the cigar of 2027 as well. But we'll see what else you got coming up at the next PCA. But I mean, I had a gentleman yesterday. Met him at another shop that they don't. Crowned Heads isn't in their humidor. Don't worry, I'm working on that, John. But
thank you.
He was showing me these pictures of his humidor, and this guy he's loaded, and it was all these old Fuentes and Davidoffs, and I said, but have you had a Crowned Heads Moonflower? And he said no. And so I gave him the CG, and I said, just smoke it and tell me what you think. He texted me last night and he said, where can I get these? Where can I buy a whole bunch of these? And why have I never heard of these? And I mean, it truly is. And that's why we wanted to invite Pipe Mike on, because,
come see me at the Tobacco Pouch.
Well, we always love to come see you. But, I jokingly say, outside of the videos of Mike not letting me in here, but, when these things came in, they were selling quicker than free hotcakes at the IHOP on a Friday night after Jake Sanders shut down the honky tonk.
So John, I don't know if you know this, but when we got the Moonflower in, I was calling Brian McGee within the first hour going, I need more. And he's like, what? And I said, I am sold out of the Toros. I am almost out of the Corona Gordas. I need more. And he's like, okay. So he puts the order in. I'm already on my initial order, second order, third order. I think I'm on my third or my fourth order already. And it's only been on the shelf for a couple of weeks.
I love it.
All right. So guys,
I'm going to give this man right here all the credit for that. That Billy Mays.
Oh, yeah, well, somebody told him the other night to shut up about the Moonflower, and I was like, no, the only thing you're going to do is make him go harder.
Yeah.
But that's
okay. So let's tell our listeners what our impressions are, so they can kind of get a flavor feel. I'll start. So what I like, it's a real smooth but complex blend. Usually you don't use those two words together, but not a lot of, to me, a spice, but not like pepper, more like spices, and just great on the retrohale, and just again, it's layered but still very smooth.
It's smooth because it's balanced.
Yes,
and that I give all the credit to the factory, to my father's cigars. I mean, to me the hallmark of a really good, great cigar is when one note isn't any louder than the others.
Yes.
It's like going to an orchestra and a great symphony or whatever. The winds aren't any louder than the brass, isn't any louder than the percussion. It all is harmonious. That's the hallmark of a great cigar, and that's what the Garcias really did great in terms of blending this. So I'm lucky to be attached to it. But yeah, I agree with you, man. It's just it's a very unique cigar. I mean, I always felt like, I go back to like my friend Pete Johnson at Tatuaje, who always believed that the best tobaccos were coming out of Nicaragua, and the more basic the blend, oftentimes the better the blend. Like, yeah, you can use Peruvian and Brazilian and this and that and all these different, and that's a nice way of doing it. You can make a nice exotic little cocktail, but really when you just start with really great tobaccos, and these are all tobaccos that the Garcias grow themselves, which they're excellent at the agricultural aspect of the game. When you start with great tobaccos, Nicaragua has, I think, the best tobaccos on the planet, honestly. I mean, you can argue and say Cuba does because of the soil and the climate, but I mean, you can make a strong argument that Nicaragua is right there, if not one, two.
Oh, and certainly like Esteli, and like the Herrera Esteli and other brands certainly make use of that, absolutely. And so let's say someone is familiar with the say the Broadway and that line, because that was actually where I came from. I remember having just the Broadway. Now I haven't had the Tennessee Waltz.
it's a great cigar.
But but let's say they're thinking about the Moonflower, but let's say their main thing is the Broadway. What would you tell them?
Apples and oranges, really. I mean, Broadway, first of all, it's a different factory, so you have a different way of working in the kitchen. It comes from Noxa, also Nicaragua, but Broadway's made in Noxa. Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, and it's just a different. It's more of a stout kind of you get a little bit of some florality to it, a little bit of fruit, a lot of leather, a lot of spice. It's heavier. This is more,
right.
To me, the Corojo is more of a balanced, more traditional cigar profile, as opposed to Broadway, which is more in your face, heavier. I guess if I was still drinking wine, I would compare it to like the difference between like maybe a Cabernet and a Bordeaux, or a Pinot and a Cabernet. It's just the Broadway would be a step up in terms of like the heaviness, the mouthfeel, the richness, and I would say Broadway would probably be like maybe full minus, medium plus, whereas I think Moonflower is more like medium to medium plus in terms of body. But as an everyday smoke, I mean, I'm in love with Moonflower. Like if somebody asked me at the PCA, somebody asked me at the PCA, literally they said, if you could smoke one cigar the rest of your life, what would it be? And we had barely just released it. We were still at the show, and I said, it's a very easy question to answer. It'd be Moonflower Corona Gorda. Perfect size, perfect blend. To me, that would be it for me. So, but ironically, when we released it, and to this point, when did we start shipping? I think in June. So maybe it's been out for maybe a month. And the Corona Gorda has been the slowest mover in terms of volume. Toro by far has been like, to put it in perspective, Toro oversold at the trade show. Got another shipment, and we were still sold out. And we have another shipment coming in now, and that's already pre-sold.
Wow.
So, yeah, Toro is by far the most popular size.
Yeah,
but for me,
you
my
guys,
favorite size.
I'm on 6. I've got 6 boxes in back order with you right now. So I'm just, and I've already got people like, when do you get in? And I said, well, as soon as they send it to me.
We're actually, no, this is totally legit, but I keep looking over here because I can see the loading dock from here, but we're expecting the shipment to land today, this afternoon.
Oh, wow.
And that Toro shipment will be sold out as well.
Wow. See, and Justin, I'm not John, but this is what, you'd said. I loved what you said about the Broadway and the Moonflower, because to me, I love the Broadway. And let's not kid ourselves. If we were putting together a Royal Rumble, I mean, we could do it all with just Crowned Heads. I mean, 4 kicks. I mean, the Law Imperiosa. You know how much
Imperiosa. That was your champ.
Hey, listen, it still can join the Moonflower for the tag team, but to me, the Broadway is kind of like your dinner cigar, and the Moonflower is kind of your dessert cigar.
Yeah.
You could smoke them back to back. They almost complement each other like that. At least that in my experience. I smoked a Broadway Robusto the other day, and then I followed it with a Moonflower Corona Gorda, which, John, I've heard you say many a times that's your, and Dave from Creekside, they love the CG Vitola. And Ben from Princeton Cigars up in New Jersey, I think you got to meet him at PCA, huge admirer of yours, but he sent me a package in the mail that just had all these Corona Gorda Vitolas in them, of like the Janie Garcia from my father, some different ones, and I was like, wow, this. And then I got that CG of the Moonflower, and I was like, this is a game changer. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm smoking the Toro today just because I wanted to have a little bit more smoke while we were recording, but I cannot get enough of those Corona Gordas. It is just the perfect cigar, and I could smoke 3 of them a day.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
that was the silver lining in the cloud, I think, knowing that we had still stock on the Corona Gordas. I could just crack a box and just smoke them, and I'm like, I'm fine. Just keep selling the Toros and the Robustos. I'm okay. I'll have this one.
And
but I tell you what I really want to do. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know, at some point, but I would love to try a Petite Corona in the Moonflower blend. I mean, that would be like, would that not be like the perfect morning with a cup of coffee, a Petite Corona, Moonflower?
Yes. That would be a very interesting little powerhouse at that point, I believe.
I might just do it as like a vanity project, just to keep like 3 or 4 bundles and give them to friends and family or whatever. But I don't think it would ever sell very well, obviously. But I just think it'd be fun to do, because I think the flavor profile would be so amazing. And
I want to give you a compliment, and I actually, the boys over at HDA, I gave them the same compliment, because I don't know if this means a lot to a lot of people. One thing I love about this Moonflower is you barely touch the band, and it just comes straight off.
Yeah, it's not glued to the wrapper, right?
And you're not peeling off wrapper, and I really appreciate that, because I've had some expensive cigars that as soon as you pop that band, you're peeling off half of the wrapper with it.
I know, that's so aggravating. I agree. I've had the same experience to this point, but again, that's my father. I mean, like, you're only as good as the factories that you work with, and we're very fortunate to work with, I think, the best factories in the world. I think, my father, Naxa, Tacanixa, which is Aradio Pichardo, who does Mil Diaz and all that, Ernesto Perez Carrillo, he's in the Hall of Fame of Cigar Aficionado. I mean, those are the people that we work with, and they make us look, better than what we are, and I'm just kind of like here for the ride. I'm very grateful.
Well, if there is a Hall of Fame for cigar brand owners, I think you should be in that, like, first ballot Hall of Famer. Because look, I mean, I actually want to know who's going to be the first person to get this tattooed on him, because this band is just absolutely.
I guess
amazing.
I was.
Well, yeah,
he's already got the Moonflower on his hands.
Okay, but listen, John's disqualified because he had the tattoo before the cigar. So. I'm not going to lie and not tell you that I haven't thought about a Crowned Heads Cigar tattoo.
You know what? I still, all these years into it, I still don't have a Crowned Heads tattoo.
I'm going to get like the old Bones Brigade tattoo, but have you on a skateboard on it. I was joking with you the other day with the skate, because I used to love all those old Bones Brigade videos and stuff.
I still watch them, man.
Yeah,
I get bored and I'm sitting in traffic 3 hours a day, and I'll just put that on there, and I'll just, that's dope. Look at that. Oh, wow. I still watch all that old stuff, man. I love skate culture.
Yeah, and back then, Mike McGill and Steve Cow, I just love those guys. But anyway, I didn't mean to distract from this amazing cigar. And, it is, I'm so thankful to Pipe Mike and Steve and Brandon and Josh, everybody here at the Tobacco Pouch. And that's why I wanted to record this episode here, is because not only were they like, dude, you love Crowned Heads, we're getting them back in the humidor. Hell, if anything, just so you'll come buy them. And I'm like, here's my credit card. Just keep it on file. But it has been, it's been fun shooting the videos. And
your wife called me and said you're cut off.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Actually, she loves John, and she would probably say as long as he's supporting Crowned Heads, it's okay.
As long as it's Crowned Heads, it's
But
fine.
It's been really cool to see the culture here, the consumers here getting turned on to it and watching them buy it. And everybody's like, they buy one and they're like, I got to get some more of those. Just like Mark, one of the gentlemen that was just here, he was hoping he was going to be here just to say hi to you because he's new in his cigar journey, and he has already got a box of Toros reserved.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's one of the box. One of the 6 that is coming in has already been bespoke by him. So,
because that makes me happy, man. I appreciate you guys sharing that with me, because that makes me feel good. Because it is. Going into the show, here's how I describe it. Like, going to the PCA for a cigar manufacturer is like taking your film to Sundance and you show it to all the critics. And you may get a good reaction, it may not, what have you. But you don't know if it's going to be a success until it goes into all the movie theaters around the country. Then you find out if you actually have something. And sometimes, even then, you don't know. And then it's years later, people catch on to it, and then it becomes a cult classic or something or what have you. But it makes me feel good to hear that people are enjoying it as much as you say they are, because, again, you just don't know. And you're always rolling the dice.
Yeah.
I'll give you a real example. When we had put in our first purchase order for Broadway, to take to the trade show in 25, we ordered 500 boxes of each size, and that pretty much was like got us going. And we didn't sell it out, but we sold most of it in the next shipment, and then it just really started to pick up steam. This year, going into the show, we were like, I think this is going to be a little bit more impactful, so we almost doubled it. We said 800 boxes of each size, and we oversold the Toro, sold out the Robusto, and so we were kind of rolling the dice a little bit, because we're not a huge operation, and to like logistically fit that many cartons of cigars into our little 3,000 square foot warehouse, it can be a challenge. And one of the shipments we got last month was the biggest shipment we've ever gotten into this warehouse, and fortunately it just was a matter of days before it all went back out onto the loading dock. So we had a hunch it was going to do well, but
that's actually a good problem to have, sir.
It's still a problem. It's still a problem.
It may be a problem, but it's a good problem. My problem is that every time I get your Moonflowers in, and your Thunderkiss in, and your Broadway in, it's going right back out the door.
I love it.
I'm about to drive poor Brian nuts.
Well,
that's okay. He gets paid,
and I'm sure that you guys get to you see the numbers. Obviously, you're seeing what's people are placing orders, reorders, and all this. But it's really exciting to see the people on the ground that are buying the cigars. I have gotten more messages on Instagram this past 3-4 weeks since I started doing the goofy little Moonflower videos and stuff. People from all over the United States are sending me pictures of themselves with their Moonflowers, and I'm like, and not one person has said anything negative to say. They're just like, I am so glad that wherever their local shop is, and people are getting them now at Creekside, and I think smokingpipes.com finally got them and things like that. But so people are, if they don't have a local tobacconist to go in and get them from, they're starting to be able to get them, and they're buying them in 5-packs, and then they're reordering them, because they're just, this cigar is changing people's lives, and we have you to thank for that.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, really. I couldn't be happier. It's funny, ever since we launched it about a month ago, we were actually late by about a month. But at any rate, we got it out, and I've not seen any kind of die down of continual pictures on Instagram of people smoking it continually over and over. And sometimes I'll reach out to somebody, especially if I don't know. I'm like, hey, what did you think? How was it? And overwhelmingly positive. To your point, I haven't had any negative feedback yet. I'm sure listen, not every cigar is for everybody, but I'm sure somebody out there will be like, well, I don't get it, which is cool. I get it.
Nor should they.
Everybody has different tastes.
Yeah.
But I go back to a quote, Steve Saka, I'll give him credit for this. He said, if you try to make a cigar that everybody likes, you will never make a cigar that somebody loves. And I thought that was like so on the money.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? It's like if you're trying to make, if you sit back and you're in like one of these big, conference rooms and you go, okay, let's look at the algorithms and the metrics for what is the best-selling cigar, what is the best-selling da-da. If you go about it from that approach, it's very clinical. But if you build something that you really enjoy and you really believe in and you think somebody out there will feel the same way, that's what it's about. That's, you put it from your heart and you throw it out there. And it's a little scary, but, ultimately if somebody vibes with it, it's going to be pretty good. But not everybody will. That's just the nature of it.
So Pipe Yoda, I got to check in with you because if memory serves me right, and I am your cigar dealer, so I think this is the first time you've had a Corona Gorda Vitola, and so tell me what that Moonflower is doing for you, Pipe Yoda.
Well, I tell you what. So I like how it, even though it's the shape that it is, it seems to be concentrating the flavors, and that's good because they're really layered and all that. Again, if you're thinking about this cigar, there's not a big pepper bomb. There's it's not the Broadway like he was saying. You don't get that punch in the face. This one just slides in and just says, "Hey, I'm your new best friend," kind of thing. And I would say this about this cigar as one. This is my first Moonflower. I would say this. This is one of the few cigars that I would either, if I knew an aficionado, say like Shawn, let's say I brought him and I know he's a big cigar guy, I would get this for him. Or if it's someone, say, who's maybe not that familiar with cigars, they say, well, I've tried one here and there. I would get this because it is so balanced, like you said, John, and I think and the way it hits, I think is friendly for both the beginner and the aficionado.
I always describe those kind of cigars as easily approachable.
Yep.
Because it's not overbearing for somebody that's not familiar with cigars, but yet if you smoke cigars for years, it's still complex and nuanced and balanced, and you can appreciate it for what it is. So I kind of put it in the same bucket with like even a Mil Diaz.
Yep. People
say like, what would be one of the cigars in your portfolio that you would recommend to somebody who's never smoked a Crowned Heads? I said, well, start with Mil Diaz because it's balanced, it's rich, it's got a little bit of spice, it's not overwhelming, it's not overbearing, it's easily approachable. And to me, Moonflower is kind of like that as well.
Yes, absolutely, and so definitely, approachable. That is the word I would use as well. I think that's what I was kind of looking for.
That's one of those fancy aficionado words.
Oh, gotcha.
See, thank God we had a real aficionado on here with us.
No doubt,
Justin.
because I am not an aficionado. I'm just a dude who shows up and smokes cigars. That's pretty
As
much.
am I.
So John. So let me ask you. Now, I always kind of ask a couple of questions of a lot of our guests. And so this Moonflower, what do you like to pair it with the most? I mean, if you just have a go-to, what is it, like black coffee or what? You
already know the answer to this one, Justin, but I'll let John.
Well, I just want him to say it. I want him to
say it. This is really easy for me. It's black coffee. Just for this, I'm sober. I don't drink spirits or wine or beer or anything like that. And I smoke all my cigars here at the warehouse. I don't smoke at home. When I'm home, I kind of take this hat off and I put on the dad husband hat, and I try to be the best at that I can be. So I don't, there's a division of church and state here in my life. It's always coffee. I always have a cup of Bustelo going here.
Right on.
And and so it's always I don't, that's one aspect that I don't really get involved with. Like people say, is it rum, is it whiskey, is it bourbon, I got too good at all of that many years ago, and I said I better retire my jersey. So
Yeah.
I did.
Well, I tell you, we have been promoting Cafe Bustelo almost since we started this podcast. Like, I think it was like by
I
the
want to
second
get him to sponsor me. I'm like, please send me.
Oh, we do too. If hey, what I wouldn't give for a big bright yellow T-shirt says Cafe Bustelo on it, man. Oh man, that'd be the only time you'd ever see me in yellow, by the way. But I'd be proud.
But you know, the quick fire way to get that, John, is the next Crowned Heads limited edition hat should play off of the Bustelo logo.
That's a good idea.
Ooh.
John, that is a good idea.
Hey,
That's a very good idea.
you're gonna get. They're either gonna love it or they're gonna. But one way or another, you're gonna get their attention.
Yeah.
You know, coffee is probably like, if we're talking vices, that's the only other thing that I do. I've been drinking coffee literally every day since I was in first grade.
Wow.
Like, I even to this day, I would ask my mom, like, why did you give me coffee as a kid? Like, most kids are drinking milk and juice, and I would always have coffee. Like, our breakfast in the morning was like either cereal or maybe like toast and some cheese and a coffee. It's kind of very European almost, like, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I would always have coffee. And so to this day, I'm still like, I love coffee. I start my day with coffee. I come in here, I have coffee. I'm actually working on a Moonflower coffee right now.
Wow.
With Dave at Creekside, because he has a side hustle called Scoutmaster Coffee, and that's how Dave. He doesn't know. A lot of people don't know about Dave at Creekside, but he started his palate off of coffee. He learned how to taste by roasting and drinking coffee.
That makes sense.
So
yeah.
So he hit me up a couple of months ago. Said, "What about a Moonflower coffee?" I'm like, "Really? Let's go." So we've been playing back and forth. He's been sending me beans. I've been trying different blends that he's come up with, and so at some point, I thought it'd be a fun little project to use in stores, like as a gift with purchase item instead of like a hat. Maybe you get half a pound of coffee or something, whatever. So
Damn,
Oh,
now
we're playing with it.
Now I'm a coffee drinker.
Yeah,
Damn.
all of a sudden, yeah. I would love to try that. That would absolutely be awesome.
It makes sense. I mean, we
Yeah.
were approached years ago to do when we came out with Tennessee Waltz. Somebody approached us about doing a Tennessee Waltz whiskey because it kind of sounded like a good, or even a Crown whiskey because it was a good name. And I couldn't figure the reasons because I don't drink it. I can't endorse it. It just seemed very not ethical of me to do that. But coffee, on the other hand, I can get behind that, and I can talk about that. So
well, you'll definitely have to let us know the minute that comes out.
I will. I'll send you guys
because
a bag.
we will be so pumped up to try that. I mean, we'll just be
fun.
So the other thing I always kind of ask. So I know this Moonflower is just hitting on all cylinders and it's just selling out left and right. But I always ask our people that we interview. So what can you tell us about Crowned Heads? What can you tell the Crowned Heads fans? What should they be looking for, say, maybe later this year, holiday, later this summer, this kind of thing? Is there anything you can talk about that's kind of in the works?
We always have stuff in the works. I guess the next big thing that we're going to release will be we're not doing Las Calaveras this year. For the first year since 2014, we're not doing a Las Calaveras. I'm taking a year off.
Okay.
Dude,
In place of that, we're bringing back the Decimo blend, which we did in 2024. To celebrate the 10th anniversary of Las Calaveras, we did a thing called Decimo Anniversario, which was a one Vitola. I think we did a couple of thousand boxes or something. And that blend was a riff on the 2014 Las Calaveras. So we're bringing that back in 3 new sizes, 10 count boxes. That'll be announced tentatively either the 22nd of this month or August the 5th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're going to make the announcement and kind of unveil it, and that'll be the next thing. Then I am working on some smaller projects. I've got 2 in the works with Creekside. I'm very excited we've been working on these for a minute. One of them is going to come out on Black Friday. The other one probably will come out a little bit before that. Brand new blend that we've never done before. I've just now started finalizing the Paniolo project for Hawaii. So we'll be releasing the Paniolo in October the 4th, I believe. We're going to Hawaii to release that. I'm trying to think of what else. There's a couple of others. I'm trying to work on a couple other shop exclusives, but they've been kind of like taking a back seat to all the other stuff that's been going on.
Man, you get a lot.
Yeah,
And I've already started on the 2027 regular production brand for March PCA. So
man, so you guys are, I mean,
busy.
Yeah, I mean, you would think you put out this Moonflower that's just taking the world by storm, and you'd think, okay, we can just take the summer off. I guess not.
Now listen.
No, you never. You like I said, like we got back from PCA on a Sunday, and I was in the office on Monday, which drives my wife crazy. She's like, "When are you ever going to take a vacation?" And I just, you really, it's hard. Because you want to do that. You want to like take some time off and get away, but it's just so difficult to do. And so what I often have to do for my family is combine work with a small little vacation, like take them with me to these various events and trade shows and what have you. But it's tough, man. It's a grind.
Well, I'm thinking if you do that Hawaiian blend, that whatever you call that,
Paniolo.
Yeah, Paniolo. I had to type it out in the notes, Justin, because Ben sent me one, and the 2024, and I smoked it in that. I can't remember if it was the Corona Gorda size, but it was a beautiful cigar. And I told Ben, I said, I really want to bring it up to John, but I don't want to butcher how pronouncing it. So
you could premiere that in Hawaii, and what do you know? That just happens to be a decent vacation spot.
That's what we've done every year since 2015.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So every year since 15, I've done a Paniolo exclusive for Hawaii, and haven't missed a year, and this year will be no exception. So, yeah, we do that. I take my wife and my daughter with me. My daughter's been to Hawaii like 8 times now.
Wow. Well, see, and I want to say something because I want to ask Pipe, Mike, and Justin a question, but John, I wanted to say, so we also were fortunate enough, we got to meet Guy Fieri, who was just a phenomenal human being. He was who you wanted him to be. And on our drive down to Louisiana, I told Justin, I said, if we get to ask Guy a question, I said, I kind of told him what I wanted to say. And I want to say the same thing to you, John, and I mean this just so wholeheartedly. I want to thank you so much for being such a positive influence for fathers.
Oh, man, that's sweet of you. I appreciate
because
that.
Everyone... Obviously, you're a family man, and that's it. I appreciate guys that are okay to say, look, I mean, just like Guy, his sons are on all of his TV shows. Your family is your family, and it's so good to have positive male role models out there to look up to and say, look, your daughter's at work with you today. You're such a positive light in the cigar community. I also want you to know that as a father, it means a lot to me to have you as a role model to look up to, that's family first, positive family guy. You love your wife, you love your daughter, and I thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, man. That means a lot. That probably means more than the Moonflower stuff, almost, to be honest with you. I mean, because that's really like, I've got a very specific value system, and I love what I do, and I'm blessed to do what I do for a living, and because I enjoy it, and I always look forward to coming here and doing these things and what have you. But a long time ago, I was like, okay, it's God, wife, family, everything else.
Right.
And I've always tried to adhere to that value system, and I try to stick to it. But yeah, my family is everything to me, man. It's just, it's important. It really is. Without that, you got nothing, I could do this all day and go home to an empty house and be absolutely miserable.
Right.
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't go unnoticed. And if your daughter, I will tell you, outside of cheer, if your daughter hasn't hit I'm into all these squishy and neatos and all this stuff, God bless you. I hope that doesn't come your way.
100 of those things.
Dude.
Yeah. He does.
I'm not exaggerating.
My daughter, our daughters are about the same age. She's notorious for calling me while we're recording. She is out squishy hunting right now, so I'm waiting for an update on.
I am so right there with you. It's ironic. My wife has gotten into it. Like I kind of like give her a little grief because, good naturedly, but she is like going, okay, I know the truck hits Walmart at this day, and I know that they go over to here at this day, and we're gonna. So my wife is always out on the hunt trying to find these neatos, dumplings, squishies. And so now we're at a point where she has like well over 100. And I said, when are you guys going to stop? Yep. It's just the hunt, the thrill of like finding them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it personally, but it's cool.
Well, listen, I empathize with them because I felt the same way hunting down the Moonflower truck when it was going to be delivered to the tobacco pouch. So if your wife and daughter need a little advice, shooting a video outside the store saying you're waiting for it, it doesn't hurt. It's done pretty good for me.
That video was awesome, dude. I shared that with the sales team. I shared that with Instagram. It was just like, was so cool. That was so awesome.
So
I loved it. Thank you for doing that.
He drove me nuts for a few days. And he's like, said, "Are they here?" "No, Shawn." "Are they here?" "No, Shawn. I will let you know when they come." So the moment I got
Moonflower, it's like the adult Nitos, I guess. Right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
There you
exactly
go.
that's where I was
Hey,
going
there
with
you
that.
go.
Is it really any different than me going around humidor to humidor searching for Crowned Heads cigars? Probably not.
And when I got the email with the invoice, I snapped a photo of it and I sent it to him, and showing that the Moonflower was on there, and he's like, "When?" I'm like, "It's probably going to be Thursday, Friday, dude. Calm down."
And I told him it was going to be Wednesday, and I was out there, and I was hopping on the back of every UPS truck that pulled through the parking lot here, and I was like, "Oh no, wait, that's for the trampoline." Oh, are those no? So those guys got some free help. I helped them unload some boxes just so I could see if they had moonflowers in them.
So John, maybe again, I always come from a perspective. So if someone's looking at this brand, why is it called Crowned Heads?
Back in 11, when we started down this road, Mike Conder, who's now retired, he used to be on a business partner, but one of the things I was tasked with was come up with a name for this company. And I wrote down all these names. I was working from home for a few weeks and wrote down all these names, and I would send them to him, and he'd be like, "No, I don't like that." Or we can never agree on a name. And then one day, this is this simple, true story. I'm watching Wizard of Oz on an iPad, and I noticed in this scene early on in the movie when Dorothy goes to see Professor Marvel to tell her fortune, it said on the side of his caravan, "Crowned Heads of Europe, past, present, and future."
Wow.
And I saw Crowned Heads, and I screenshotted it, and I texted it to him, and I said, "What do you think of Crowned Heads?" And he liked it, and I'm like, "All right, let's see if the trademark attorney can approve it." And they did, and it was as simple as that. It was Crowned Heads.
Wow. So you're doing all that looking, and you just happen to see it.
Yeah, it hit for me. And I think it was kind of like, I was always a fan of this fashion brand. It's kind of underground, but you may have heard of it. It's called Chrome Hearts.
Uh-huh.
And they're out of LA. And so when I was living in LA, I was a big Chrome Hearts fan. Pete Johnson was a huge Chrome Hearts guy and everything too. And we both were fans of Chrome Hearts. And I said, it kind of sounds like Chrome Hearts, Crowned Heads. So what it enabled me is I didn't want something that said Jon Huber cigars or Nashville cigars or whatever. I wanted it to make people ask the question, what is that? Crowned Heads, what is Crowned Heads, kind of thing. And so that's literally how it started. So, and then people after the fact were saying oh, it's because C stands for Conder, H stands for Huber, Crowned Head. And I'm like, no, that's not it. And somebody said, oh, it's because of the head of the cigar is like a crowned head. I'm like, no, that's a good idea, but that's not it. It was from the Wizard of Oz, literally.
Wow.
So
we need to pause at this point to talk about.
Well, let me before we do, I wanted to ask you guys a question, because both of you, Pipe Mike and Justin, you guys are primarily pipe smokers, right? So where and Mike, this may be more kind of a question to you too. But, you have a lot of pipe tobacco people coming in here looking for pipe tobacco, but they do occasionally want cigars. How does the Moonflower fit in for someone who's primarily a pipe smoker? Because to me, it's got great aromatics. It's got kind of an aromatic pipe. I think it would be a good transition into cigar.
This is one I would not hesitate on recommending to a pipe smoker. Just basically because it's it's got white pepper, it's got cream, it's got a little bit of mint, it's got some spice to it. I'm still looking for the peanut butter that is listed on the box, but it's
guilty.
But it's a guys who are guys who are pipe smokers and they want the occasional cigar. This would be a good one for them, especially the guys that are smoking some of the bolder aromatics, or if they're the non-aromatic smoker, the guys that are smoking Virginia Burleys, Virginia Periques.
Right.
This would be a good stick for them.
Absolutely.
The guys that are smoking English, strictly English tobaccos, maybe not so much.
No.
I'd push them towards a Broadway.
Okay.
Or a Juarez.
That Willie Lee's Juarez Vitola, banger of a cigar.
But yeah, but
good value prop.
Yeah.
But for the guy that wants to try a cigar, and they want to do for the pipe guy that wants to try a cigar, and they want to try Crowned Heads. It would either be the Moonflower or the Mil Diaz.
Well, what say you, Pipe Yoda, as seen on TV?
Well, so I totally agree with Pipe Mike on that. Yeah, your English smoker, probably not so much. But certainly if you're an aromatic smoker like me, this is definitely a good transition. Again, it's not sweet like an aromatic. You're not going to get any of that. But what you get that complexity, you get that kind of smooth flavor, kind of like a pipe tobacco, sort of. But it's definitely a cigar. But you don't have that leatheriness. At least I didn't get that. That it say typifies, let's say, a West Tampa Red or something like that. That profile goes in another direction, more wood, more leather. This is definitely smooth and layered, and all that. And but meanwhile, yeah. And I want to stop here and at least mention our friends at Tuber. And now, if you want to transport these fine cigars to the golf course or to wherever, the Tuber is the way to go. It's great for us because they're a solid, and when you close them, it pushes all the air out and it keeps them fresh. That way, you can just throw it in your pack, like Shawn and I do. A lot of times, we throw it in a pack and then forget it, or we drop our pack or whatever. Your cigars are safe and sound, ready to go, fresh and
they're Moonflower friendly.
And they are definitely Moonflower friendly.
They told me it's water resistant too.
Yes. So
you're out on a boat and you drop it in the water.
Yep.
So this one it's the aluminum. It's a little bit heavier, but yeah, supposedly if you're out on the lake and you drop it in the water, it floats. Mm-hmm. And I think Pipe Mike even said, he had a couple of really good sticks in the one that I gave him, and he left them in the car overnight, and
they're perfect.
They're perfect.
Right. So
perfect. I was scared that they were going to be a little dried out, and nope. Opened it up, made the pop.
Yeah, and it's just right there. And so, if you want to, so now, Shawn, we have that link on our site.
Yes, we're going to have a direct link to Tuber that gets you the Smokin Sounds code and all that stuff. We love the people over at Tuber. It was awesome to meet them at PCA, and we're very thankful for their sponsorship, as we are of the 4 Jon boys. And we're going to get Jon one of these new Smokin Sounds hats.
Yes.
I'm so thankful to those guys. They embroidered it for us. It turned out perfect. And and you've talked about Pete Johnson a couple of times, Jon, and I have sent the Boveda video with you and Pete and Drew. Mm-hmm. Poor Drew didn't stand a chance. He just had to say like 2 words. That is one of the best interviews. If you have not go onto YouTube, search Boveda, watch that interview with Jon and Pete. You can tell that you guys are true friends. And it was just like 2 friends. It was just so... I probably watched it 300 times. I can't get enough of it. You guys just killed it, man. So if no one's seen that, I encourage you to go watch it.
It really wasn't so much as an interview. It was just a chat, really.
Yeah.
I mean, before we started taping it, I sat down in the chair next to Pete, and I'm like, we have to do this till we can see each other now. Because back in the day when we were both working, he was working for Grand Havana, I was working for CAO. We had this tradition where he and I would always like link up on the floor and go, okay, what's good to smoke out there? And then we go to dinner together. We'd hang out. We'd, talk about cigars, whatever. And now we're both so busy in our own little, worlds that we never get a chance to actually like go and say, hey, what's going on? How are you? What's good? So that interview was a nice little way to catch up and just kind of reminisce about things. And it was fun, man. It was a highlight for me for sure. I can't say enough good things about that man. He's, you wouldn't be smoking Moonflower right now if it wasn't for Pete Johnson. I'll put it that way, because Pete was the entree to getting me to work with the Garcias. He actually, truth be told, back in 2011 when we had announced the company, but we didn't know who was going to make the cigars. Mike and I kind of went on a Central American tour of different factories to see, what our options would be to who's going to make the first cigars. And one of the meetings was with Jaime Garcia, because Pete orchestrated it. We went in a different direction. And then a few years later, I hit Pete back up and said, hey, I want to get back in there. I want to see if we can do something together. Could you help me out? And so I actually, in January of 14, went back down to my father with Pete and Yanni at the time. And we spent like a weekend down there, and it was a very productive trip. And the rest, just kind of is history. But I owe a lot to Pete, for sure.
Breaking news. I just got the message from my daughter, John. Can we go to Walmart and see if they have Nitos, please?
There you go.
I told y'all it was coming. And the other thing before I get distracted is because, yes, we're all about this Moonflower, but man, Tim, I'm gonna apologize now if I mess this up. But the Maracana from Oz Family,
Maracana, yeah,
freaking fantastic cigar.
Great cigar.
I did not want to go without mentioning that, because they carry those here at the pouch as well. And hopefully we'll get the World Cup. But you guys are just killing it over there in Nashville, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's been fun because, having Tim back in the fold 100%, like he's got his own set of ideas that are really great and inventive. And I kind of do my thing, he does his thing, and we all come together. And when we had that meeting where I pitched, what became Moonflower, Tim's like, hey, I want to get a cigar from you guys too, and I have this idea to do this, Brazilian cigar, and kind of reinvent the old CAO Brasilia. And the Garcias had not worked with Brazilian wrapper up to that point, and they said we'd never used this. And so Tim was able to find a tobacco broker that had Arapiraca leaf, and then they went down there and then they sorted it, they looked at it, what have you. Can I help you? AJ, please.
I'm so glad that John took that, because I was going to say Brazilian Arapiraca. He says it's so much better.
Yeah, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm not even going to try. It's
Arapiraca. Basically there's two varietals. It's Arapiraca and Matafina. He may have used Matafina. I have to go back. I kind of let Tim do Tim. But it's a Brazilian wrapper leaf, and a great blend. Great cigar. It's a great follow-up to his Caratoba, which is also made at Noxa.
God, yes.
Caratoba is a great cigar in itself. So it's been fun. We've always got things cooking across the table. That's usually where Tim sits, and he's actually, I think he's in Iowa right now, doing a podcast right now in Iowa, and doing some stuff. And Maracana is another great cigar. So I'm excited for that one, to get more people onto that as well.
And as we kind of get into the final, I guess, I'm going to sound like I know what I'm talking about, the final thirds of this Moonflower, it seems like the sweetness of the cigar is more pronounced. Like the spice kind of goes away and it gets a little bit more sweeter. I don't know if you guys had that same experience in yours, but it's just, this thing, I'm going to burn my fingertips. I'm going to smoke it.
It's got a good finish to it. Definitely got a good finish to it.
I'm down to where it's very cedary and very minty, but I'm smoking the Robusto right now.
Yes, I love that minty finish. It's clean. Yeah, it doesn't cloy your palate. It's got that minty kind of bright finish to it.
Yep.
I'm terrible with the flavor notes, guys, by the way, just for the record. Like, I get a kick out of watching everybody dissect flavor notes and say I get hints of this, that, and the other. I basically, what is it, like 5 things you can taste in your palate: sweet, sour, salt, bitter, umami, whatever. And so whatever I taste, I try to, just kind of romance it a little bit. Like when somebody called peanut butter, I'm like, it had a nutty quality to me. So instead of saying nuts, I just said peanut butter,
Oh, okay.
Creekside is the best.
That's a relatable thing.
Yeah.
But
they're like, cinnamon candy leather chair bomb. And
years
it's awesome. I love it.
So years and years ago, when I first got into smoking cigars at a shop here in Tulsa, and before I even was in this business of selling cigars, being a cigar tender, cigar slinger, however you want to call it.
Cigar tender, I like that.
Yeah.
We are anymore now. I'm an emotional support tobacconist. We had a guy that would come into the shop, and we would get the cigar aficionado, and it was kind of like sitting around with Pappy or Grandpa's. He's reading story to the kids. He would just pick out some random thing and start reading out the cigar aficionado. And the thing that just absolutely killed me was he got to a thing that has said, well, it has hints, the cigar is minerally with hints of pencil lead.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And it was just dead silence in the shop. And he looked up at all of us and he's like, we're not reading this anymore.
I tell you, though, I'll go back, and there was an issue of Cigar Aficionado magazine. And one of the notes that they called out was gunmetal.
Yeah.
I thought, like, all right, so how do you know what gunmetal tastes like? Did you put like a revolver in your mouth? Like, how do you know what gunmetal is? That was the kicker for me.
Well,
I'd be scared to know.
That's when I got curious and started looking up to, oh my gosh, here comes Mr. Mark White. It's the guy who
he hurried back so he could say hi to you, John.
That's when I got really nosy and started looking into who's reviewing this stuff for Cigar Aficionado. And I found out, well, no, they also publish Wine Aficionado. And I'm like, okay, this is where this is coming from.
100%. Yeah, because Shanken had Wine Spectator before he started Cigar Aficionado magazine. And Wine Spectator, I think wine, it's a little bit more credible to call out like, jammy, fruity, because, I mean, it's coming from grapes, basically. So you've got those elements. So I think they just took that model and put it into cigars, and that's what started all the
it just to me it just made it even more ridiculous because a few years later there was a movie called Somm that came out.
Oh, I was just literally, you blowing my mind, because I just was talking about that with Chad. I said, because we were talking about wines and stuff, and I said, listen, if you've never seen this movie Somm, SOMM, you've got to see it.
Yeah, it's a great movie, especially if you have any curious. If you've got a curious nature about yourself, that's a good one to watch, especially if you're interested in wine. But I'm listening to the guy talk about us. I smell tennis ball, I smell rubber hose, and I'm like, my mind immediately went back to hints of minerally and hints of pencil lead, and I'm like, I don't know if I can finish this with a straight face.
No, but the thing about Somm that blew my mind was like they'd have like 12 glasses, and then they'd have to like literally say, okay, this is whatever from whatever winery, here's the year of the vintage. They'd have to call that out perfectly.
Oh yeah, to get your sommelier, you have to be able.
I was like, are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Over the years of doing this job, I've gotten to where I'm not even going to claim to be that accurate, but when I'm smoking cigars, I can tell. I can pretty much tell you if it's Honduran, if it's Nicaraguan, it's the Dominican Republic, and I can probably within about 80% accuracy pick out certain regions. Like if I know if it's the tobacco's been out of the Jalapa Valley because it has a certain tang to the flavor. I also, the volcanic island that they get, Ometepe, that has a particular flavor to it. Costa Rican tobacco has a particular flavor to it. Indonesian has a particular flavor to it. And occasionally I can pick that stuff out when I'm smoking a cigar. But, the whole thing with Cigar Aficionado and pencil lead and everything is like, okay, one, that's silly. Number two, it's and then Somm did not help. But it's like, okay, I can, the way I look when I'm smoking somebody's cigar for the first time and I'm trying to decide, do I want this on my humidor? Do I need this in my humidor? Is this going to sell? And plus, when we're bringing cigars into the shop, I smoke it, my boss smokes it, my employees smoke it. Three of the four of us, we got to have a consensus. Is this going to are we going to sell it? It's got to be something that we believe in to push it. Because if it doesn't, if there's only one of us that like it, chances are it's going to fail.
Right.
Your cigar, your new Moonflower, everybody here that works it, my boss who's kind of picky, he accuses me of being picky, but he really enjoyed it. I've got a couple of my cigar buddies who are very, very, very picky about what they smoke. They enjoyed it. So so your cigar,
like that commercial for I'm going back a ways, but there was a cereal called Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were like,
Mikey
"I want
likes
to eat
it.
it. Let's get Mikey. Mikey hates everything, and Mikey likes it." And it's like, oh, then it must be good, right?
I am Mikey here.
Well, and I will.
It's Pipe Mikey.
Well, and I will say, because, and obviously, again, just from walking into the humidor, I don't know if it's something that happens on a regular basis here, but it seemed like from the moment the Moonflower landed in the humidor, that thing moved quicker than most new cigars I've seen come into humidors. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah. Well, it was a perfect storm, because people that had been who went to the PCA and tried the cigar were going on about it. You were going on about it.
Maybe just a little bit.
There's lots of people talking about the cigar. So when I called Brian to place an order, and I'm like, hey, I need Moonflower, to be added to the list. And he's like, okay, what do you want? And I said, give me this. I need the new Oz. I need the new Moonflower. I'll make room on the shelves. And then, with your goofy little video, it coming in, and my social. I do not do the social media here. I am way too blunt and honest with people about stuff.
That's perfect for social media, though. That's how social media should be. It should be authentic and honest.
Yeah. And my approach to social media is, if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, buy it. Whatever. Get out of my face. I have stuff I've got to get done.
Right.
But so the stuff got here at 3:00.
Uh-huh.
By 3:05, social media went out.
Yeah.
You were here within 20 minutes.
I was still unloading another UPS truck that was the wrong one. They snuck it in on me.
And UPS says you're not to approach the trucks anymore.
Yeah. They got a restraining order.
Yeah, they got
against
a restraining order on Shawn.
But like I said, within the first, by 4:00, I've got my boss, the owner of the shop, sitting here, and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And it's like, "Here's the sales report." And he's like, "What's all negative? What hasn't been loaded in the system because we've been selling it."
Wow.
And he's like,
"That's awesome.
Can we?" And I was like, "Yes, I can reorder. Just tell me what you." Just, either give me a budget or give me the credit card, one of the two. And so I called Brian at 4:00, or just a little after 4 p.m. the day it came in. And I'm like, I need more. And he's like, what?
So, and John,
I'm glad you're sharing this with me, because Brian doesn't share all these stories with me at all. So I have no idea.
Brian is awesome.
He is. I've known Brian longer than my wife.
Wow.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
I love Brian to death. I have been.
He's
friends,
a good dude.
I have been friends with him for a long, long time. I don't know if you know or met Jeff Greiner over at Classic Cigars. He's on the PCA board now, but we sit there and aggravate. We'll sit there and aggravate Brian online, on Facebook especially. And there's a couple times that I was like, Jeff, that's an old Marine. And old Marines is still a Marine, dude.
Right.
So, John, I did want to ask you, did you see the Half-Wheel article that came out right after the PCA that listed Moonflower as one of the most talked about cigars at the PCA?
I did, and I was surprised, to be honest with you. It was a nice kind of feather in the cap, but like they're a tough nut to crack. And for them to actually recognize that, I was like, wow, maybe there's something there. I don't know. So that was nice to see that, to be honest with you, because I wasn't expecting it, and I think also Cigar Aficionado Dave Savona put Moonflower up as one of the talked about best cigars he smoked at the PCA. So I was like, wow, that's really saying something, because I don't typically get a lot of love from that publication either. So I kind of always felt, over the years, that if you do something and build it and get better and better at it, like even the people that don't believe in you eventually are going to have to buy into it, because it's just going to hit critical mass and they're going to be like, okay, I got to pay attention to this now. So I kind of felt in a small way with those two nods from Half Wheel and Cigar Aficionado, kind of felt like that was starting to come to fruition a little bit. So.
Oh man,
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
And we were fortunate enough. We ran into Chris from JR Cigars, and he asked if he could shoot a little something with me and Justin, and we were like, "You sure you want to shoot something with us?" But yeah, sure, great. So right before we walked over with him, you had given him a Moonflower at the booth, and he lit it up, and we're walking over, and he stops and he goes, "This is something special, man." He goes, "This cigar is something special." Wow. And I told him, I said, "Yeah, we were fortunate enough. We got one yesterday." And I was like, I was so sad when it ended, because it was like, you know, how is anything else going to compare to this? And we had some great cigars at PCA, but the Moonflower just stood out head and shoulders above everything else that we smoked.
Thank you. It is probably the perfect storm, because the blend was on point. I give credit to the Garcias. The packaging blew me away even, and I give credit to Juan Carlos and to Rye Dog, the band makers in Holland. So it all kind of came together, at the nth degree. And then interesting story about Rye Dog. I don't know if anybody knows who they are, but they've been doing this for hundreds of years. They're printmakers. They did stuff for the Cubans, and they have this collection of Vistas from Cuba from the 1900s, and it's insane. The attention to quality and detail. It's tough to work with them, because you have to really plan 8 to 10 months out, because they're so meticulous about what they do. And in the case of Moonflower, they shared the story with me at the show that there was one element that they've never used. I think it was called a radium, or I don't even remember what it was. They said, "Listen, we're telling you this now, but this is why it was delayed. We weren't sure that this was going to work, and we had to test it over and over to make sure it was actually going to work on the final production." They said if it didn't work, then everything behind that CH would just be like this blue. But instead, what you see behind that band is like these little ghosted images, almost like a holograph of Moonflowers. You have to look real closely. It's hard to even see on screen.
Yeah, it is. But they're there, and it's beautiful.
They're there, and that's because they used this particular element for the first time that they've ever done. I was like, I was kind of like breathing a sigh of relief. Like, I'm glad it worked out, because what was the alternative plan, But just everybody just really delivered 100% on this project.
I'm old. I have to use my phone.
And the CYP on the side of the bands too is just a beautiful touch as well.
Yeah. And if I showed you I should just text it to Shawn, but the bands for the 2027 release have already been done. And,
oh wow.
We had to do the packaging before the blend. I'm still in the blend evaluation portion of it, but I'm going to do this right now while we're on the air. You guys can keep talking, but I'm going to text this to you, Shawn. This is kind of without letting the complete cat out of the bag.
Justin, I was fixing to say that Moonflower relaxed you over there, buddy.
Well,
we know nothing, sir.
Yeah. So now we are Smokin Sounds, and so just we kind of passed by it. So John, if no one's ever had a Thunder Kiss, we've talked about the Broadway, we've obviously talked about the Moonflower. They'll be interested in Thunder Kiss, from White Zombie. So. What can you tell a new smoker who said, "Well, I've been thinking about that Thunder Kiss just because I love White Zombie"? What can you tell them about it?
So Thunder Kiss, it actually, hang on, I'm looking for one little thing here. Hang on one second.
Well, while John's looking for that, Jess, I'm going to tell you. So we have.
All right, it's done.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So Thunder Kiss.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. My VP of sales hit me up like a couple of years ago to create a bundle project for one of the big catalogs. And it wasn't necessarily a blend that I signed off on or anything. It was just kind of like they wanted a cool idea to sell these cigars. And so I'm like, okay, it became Meat and Three. And they loved the idea, the packaging, the branding. So we did it. And then immediately after that, I started getting a lot of messages like, "Can I get these?" And I'm like, "No, it's a catalog exclusive. I'm sorry." So it gave me the inspiration. Like, I want to do this same style cigar, but I want to make it better, and I want to give it to everybody. And so we started working on the blend, which became Thunder Kiss, and I think the retail is like $675 SRP. And to me, the cigar smokes like a $9 to $12 cigar. Hold on one second. Right.
By the way, that's the other cigar that's been of yours that's been a big hit here at the shop.
Thunder Kiss. It's a great cigar for the price. It really, really is. And Hang on one second, guys. I'm just trying to hook my daughter up here.
So while John's doing that, John sent me that picture. Pipe Mike, here's my credit card because you're just going to need that for the future. That cigar looks absolutely fantastic.
So tell our listeners about what you're looking at, Shawn.
It's just the band that it's just beautiful. I mean, it's I won't say any more than that.
Oh, okay.
But it's but Pipe, you will just need to keep this on file because you have more Moonflowers and there's a gentleman out of Canada. He runs an Instagram account, Gilroy's Original, and he couldn't get the Thunder Kisses over there. And so I thought, well, hey, we're nice guys. I'll send you one. Sending stuff to Canada. So I sent the first package, and I don't know what the postal system did, but I got the package back, and it just completely tore it all apart. So I had to come back in, got some more Thunder Kisses, packaged it differently, and I was so glad that I put extra Boveda packs in there because, going through customs and all that, and then you got to declare everything that's in there. But anyway, he got the Thunder Kiss, absolutely loved it. Just sent a Thunder Kiss over to a gentleman that owns Buffalo Cigar Lounge in Eureka Springs because he hadn't gotten them in over there yet. And it's another one that people are just blown away that cigar is, I'm not going to use the B word because that cigar smokes like a $12 to $13 cigar.
It's exactly what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make it available for everybody. And Creekside, going back to those guys, had a big part of how that got traction immediately because I'd been working on it for most of 25, and then we got the samples in at the end of 25. And Creekside was here in our warehouse shooting a podcast, and Dave kind of peeked at one of the cartons. And he said, "Hey, you got Thunder Kiss in?" I'm like, and he had smoked it already, so he knew. He says, "Do you mind if we mention it on the pod?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And then before he left, he bought 50 of the 75 bundles we had.
Man.
And then 2 days later, they released the pod, and he says, "I need another 100." And it was just like that, and it just took off. And it was like every shipment was sold out before we even got it, and just kept going and going. So right now, it's kind of quieted down a little bit just because Moonflower is kind of taking over the spotlight. But Thunder Kiss is a great cigar, regardless of the money. And then the packaging came out really cool too, and that was really easy. I told my graphic designer, Wade, I said, "Listen, here's the project, in a nutshell." I said, "All I want you to do is watch this video and just design whatever, the name is Thunder Kiss, but watch this music video and just go with whatever comes to your brain." And that's what happened. I sent him that White Zombie Thunder Kiss 65 video, and the rest of it just came like that, and there it is.
And,
wow.
And so we'd mentioned the Tennessee Waltz earlier. Thankfully, David, he runs Knucklehead Nation Cigars. I think he sent you some photos and stuff. Johnny's just a beautiful photographer and stuff. He does just such a beautiful job with your cigars. And he sent me a couple of the Tennessee Waltz. And that cigar, too, it's like you just can't go wrong with the cigars in your portfolio. Like we said, the La Imperiosa, the Four Kicks. I mean, I could smoke a Crowned Heads every day. I do. So,
But
I appreciate it. I got to get you some. We've been sold out of Waltz now for probably 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, like about a month ago, I went in the back and I asked Chad I said, "Hey, where were the bundles of Jericho Hill?" And he's like, "We don't have any." And we didn't have a box on the shelf. I said, "What about La Imperiosa?" No bundles, no boxes.
Wow.
Tennessee Waltz. No. So we've been literally I couldn't even get a cigar to smoke off the shelves. So on this shipment that's coming in with Moonflower, we're getting Waltz, we're getting Imperiosa, we're getting Jericho Hill back. So I need to get you guys some Tennessee Waltz next week.
Smoke. Yeah, I smoked my last one last week because I was, since I got in the Moonflower, it's fun to kind of compare the blends. And that lineup, I mean, if you had Emil Diaz first thing in the morning with a cup of Bustelo, then you followed it up with a Tennessee Waltz, Broadway, Moonflower, bam. But wait, there's more. You still got the Juarez and the Jericho Hill. I mean, I know that the blood medicines. I still have a couple of the blood medicines that I'm holding on to, I think I still have a couple of the 2025 Los Calaveras that are just fantastic cigars.
The challenge becomes making stuff that doesn't cannibalize anything in your portfolio. Everything has to have a reason to exist, and it's like I can't have something that tastes identical in the portfolio. Everything has to have a different lane. I look at Jericho Hill, and it's like something we did in 2014, and it's still relevant, which is great. I started that project off. I called it the Poor Man's Padron.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's box press. We don't box press a lot of stuff at Crowned Heads. Like Oz family does a lot of box pressing. I don't do it. But I remember like going back to that trip to my father's cigars. We started to work on Las Calaveras, and then I asked Jaime. I said, "Do you have any San Andreas tobacco?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and he took me to the warehouse, showed me all the pilons and everything. I'm like, "Perfect." He's like, "Do you want to do something with it?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I want to make the poor man's Padron," and he just smiled. He's like, "Yeah, I can do that." And that's if you take the band off of an OBS Jericho Hill and you smoke it next to a Padron, like especially the 26, not necessarily the 64, but like the 26, it's a little stouter. Very similar profiles.
Wow. Okay.
Well, and another thing that I heard you say on the Down to Her with Jerry and Gio and them over there, you were talking about the rebranding and how and I love hearing that transparency, transparency that you were just like, we've done this rebranding and it's kind of revived these older these kind of older brands.
100%.
And I just think that's awesome to hear that because the rebrand is beautiful.
Thank you again. Credit to Juan Carlos. That rebrand literally took every bit of 18 months. We started off with like, how do we develop the hero logo? And that was like, he sent me like 10 different versions. I picked 3. Then we did 10 different versions of those 3, just dialing it down finally. And then how do we implement that into the brands without losing the brand identity that we had created in each of these brands? Okay. It was a tall order, but 18 months later, it all came together, and I couldn't be happier with it because it's really made stuff on the shelf. What was old is now new. Like people are discovering La Imperiosa for the first time, even though it's been out since 2015. They're like, wow, this cigar is fantastic. Well, it's because of the presentation now is drawing people in and encouraging trial.
Right.
Now people are discovering these cigars that we've had in our portfolio, which is really, it's been fun to watch because I've always believed in the blends, in the cigars. It's just that some of the packaging just got very tired, dated, what have you, and now we have this very cohesive look on the shelf where you look and that's the Crowned Head section. Before we didn't have that. Everything looked different intentionally, but it needed to be redone. So I'm very happy with how it came out.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, that's so important that once people kind of get the consistency, they can, they know Crowned Heads, if nothing else, they just know the symbol and they know your style and all that. And I know that has to go a long way.
Well, and that's the same thing because I was in Jacksonville. We went down to see our oldest son. He's in the Navy in Jacksonville, and he took me to a cigar shop. Unfortunately, Smoker's Abbey wasn't open yet. I would have loved to go in there in Jacksonville, but it was Second Street Cigars, I believe it was. Okay. And I said, hey, first thing I always ask is, where's your Crowned Head section? And the gentleman, I believe his name was Chris, that was running the shop. He goes, this is all I have left that's sitting on he had 2 Jericho Hills and 1 La Imperiosa. He said, I can't keep them in stock.
That's great. Yeah, and you're talking about brands that have been around for a decade plus, which in this industry is a lifetime because, I mean, usually, like I've talked to some guys that have been doing this for, decades, and they say a life cycle of a brand is about 18 months, and then you have to rationalize it and do something new. And I was like, I'm just not ready to do that. I'm like, I believe that these cigars are great. I believe the tobaccos are great. I believe the factories are great. I want to give them a chance to exist, a reason. So hence the rebrand.
Well, and it's like Daniel Lansing owns Domain Cigars. He said, I was watching him on a podcast, and he made a reference. He said, pipe smokers are romantics, and he said cigar smokers are one night stands. He said it's really hard to kind of keep.
That's a great way to put it. That's so true.
It's kind of hard to keep, especially if you're with social media, you see all these different boutique brands in this, and you go into your humidor, and if they don't have it, well, you're automatically moving on to something else, right? But and I'm sure you probably see that a lot.
Yeah, being pipe smokers like being married. You take care of your pipe, it takes care of you. Cigars are strictly one night stands. Blonde, done. Redhead, next, done. Brunette, next, done. Hey, I think I want another blonde. Okay.
Yeah, like when I first got into business, there was more I want to say brand loyalty. Like you had the guy that would walk into a cigar store and get his box of H. Upmans, and that's all he wanted. Give me my box for the week, and I'll come back. I'll see you next week. Now, years later, I think it's kind of like I compare it to like that craft beer mentality when people like want what's new, what's not discovered yet. And so now I don't think you have that that brand loyalty so much. You just hope to get into somebody's rotation. Like I can't ever expect somebody to only smoke Crowned Heads unless it's Shawn.
Right. Yeah.
But
guilty.
If you get into that rotation where the guy says, okay, I want Crowned Heads and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust and Tatuaje and Foundation and Illusion, if you get into that rotation, then you have a chance at surviving in the industry. But there's no, I just want this, because there's so much out there that is so good. Mm-hmm. Like I'm smoking stuff from everybody all the time just because I'm a cigar geek, and everybody, there's so much good stuff out there. So.
And there really is. Like, I mean, I just enjoyed the new Rocky Patel Sapphire. That's a great San Andreas cigar. But brand loyalty, I'm going to tell you, and I know, again, this sounds like I'm just, fanboying out because John's here. But I'm saying this because, obviously, I feel like we've developed a friendship. I think a big reason why people are so loyal to Crowned Heads is because of you. Because of the customer support that you provide to people. You answer all your DMs. You there's nothing like receiving one of your handwritten notes, man. I mean, those, and that's what people tell me. We've had people message us on our Instagram account, and they're like, dude, I can't wait for the day I get a handwritten note from Jon. And
you know what? Listen, I've always got these things going. I go through more of these and Sharpies than anything else. Listen, I feel like, and I write them all out. So like people that buy hats in our merch store, right? Or whatever, T-shirts, what have you. Everybody gets a handwritten note. Everybody gets a specific, like, hey, I hope you enjoy the hat or the T-shirt or the stickers or whatever. Because I think if somebody's going to take the time to support the brand and spend their hard-earned money in a small way to support us, I want to thank them. That's just the way I was raised. You write a thank you note. And to this day, like, I've written over 4,000 of those.
Wow.
Because every Shopify order has a number on it. And then we're like at 4,400 and something now. So, it's the labor of love, but I want to make sure I do that. And I never want to stop doing that.
And I think you probably see that too. Like when you put out the latest hat you put out, the 250, the camouflage that Justin's wearing. I mean, it seemed like that thing sold out in like an hour.
It was like less than 12 hours.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, it was, but that's people because they want to support. Because again, I can never say enough good things about Brian and Miguel and Gio and Jake and Chad, all those guys.
They're all great.
Danny, I think I missed Danny. I apologize, Danny. Great guys, and just to be able to meet them in person and shake their hands, because not as only is it just Jon Huber, but you've got a great backing chorus or backing 100%. Band, whatever you want to call them.
Like everybody that we have is kind of like bought into the ethos and the vision of the company, and having those kind of guys around me, it's not even more like a employer-employee relationship. It's more like a family, like a fraternity. And those guys feel as strongly about customer support as I do, all of them to a person. Chad, Danny, Adam, everybody. I mean, it's unusual that you get that mix of people, and it's hard to find. But once you do, you have a good chance of succeeding. And everybody shares that same vision of the company, of the take care of people, and treat them like you want to be treated. And
even whenever I had the fortune, I got to meet Brian, which lovely guy, love him to death. Mm-hmm. You could see the sparkle in his eye when he said, dude, have you heard how long I've known Jon? And he told me your guys' history and stuff, and when he wasn't with you, and then he was fortunate enough he got to come back, and you could tell that it wasn't some guy just making up a story. Like there was emotion in that story he was telling, and it was just great to hear. Like
I said, I've known Brian since probably the early 2000s. I don't even know what year, but then we were fortunate enough to hire him on like in 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's been with us, for a dozen years, and just a great guy. He really is, on a personal level. I care about these guys personally, and it's like I tell my wife, it's like, I'm not working just to support us, but I'm working because I want to support all these guys and their families, and I want to keep creating stuff so that we can all have a better life together. Mm-hmm. And it's stressful, but it's also very motivational too.
Well, I think we need to get Jake on that skateboard that you have at the warehouse. I'd love to see the cowboy.
It would snap in half. Jake would get on it. It would just be
Justin, I know I've been bogarting the mic here. I don't want to leave you out. What do you got for John? What, as we're kind of getting to wrap this up, what have we forgot?
Well, normally, here's the, again, thanks, John, so much. Another great interview. This second time you've been on with us, and we just can't thank you enough. So I don't want to miss it. So tell everybody where they can find you on social media and where they can order your, again, the swag is what I'm into. So where we can order that stuff.
So on social media, it's the Crowned Heads. And the only reason I put it's not an ego thing, is like back when we launched the company, some like jazz trio was called Crowned Heads out of New Orleans, and they already had it, so I had to put the Crowned Heads.
Okay.
So it's the Crowned Heads on Instagram, also on X, but mostly I'm on Instagram. I don't do Facebook or anything like that. But if you go to the Crowned Heads on Instagram and follow us, all the content comes from me. The DMs come from me. I get a lot of DMs like, hey, and they don't think it's me, but it is. And then our website is crownedheads.com. And before anybody goes there, we're in the process of updating the website so that it actually looks like it's from 2026 and not 2011. That's been one of the things we've been working on behind the scenes. So hopefully in the next month or two, we'll have a new website up. You can get the merch on the website. Just click on store. We don't have any. We sold out of everything pretty much now. We got a little bit of stuff. I got another shipment coming in at the end of the month. A couple of new cool looking designs.
Oh, I've been looking forward to that.
Yeah, and that's it, man. And then really more than anything, support your local tobacconists, man. So I always say is go to your local and ask if they don't have it, ask for Crowned Heads.
Well, I was chatting with my beautiful wife, and we were looking at your website, and she goes, because she's got Dirty Birch Me, and she goes, I love John. Does he need some help? Does he need me to help him update that website?
Oh, it's terrible.
I said, we talked about that last time. And then I was telling her about our good friend, Matty Booth, who I absolutely love. Again, we got the pleasure of meeting him.
Guy.
But the jewelry he makes, I said, what do you think about us getting this Moonflower band made into like some rings? And then we were looking at the site, and she said, well, you might have to stop buying Moonflowers so we can. I said, no, I got to keep smoking the Moonflower. So, Matty Booth, the ring will have to take a back seat, but that'd be a beautiful design. Get a Crowned Heads.
Listen, I've known Matt Booth since before he was in the cigar industry. We go way back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I was still a CAO, and I found Matt in Room 101 in a magazine, and I thought his jewelry designs were so cool. And I remember sending a message thinking like, I'll never hear from this guy. And I'm driving home, and I get a phone call from a 213 number, which is LA. And I answered it, and it was Matt. And I'm like, Matt Booth? And I was just like, what? That kind of. So anyway, I bought, rings and necklaces and all this stuff over the years from him. And then he got into the cigar industry, and we've been really tight ever since. And he's a great guy. And that's another guy that really puts family in front of everything.
Yeah.
You follow Matt on Instagram. He's never without his wife and his son. They travel the world. He's taken to some crazy places, and he's awesome. I love Matt.
I've had the pleasure to sit down and talk with him a couple times. And,
oh, wow.
He's a character.
Oh, yeah. So it's funny because, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, John, but like I'll be messaging with Matt, and he's like, dude, I fucking need to come on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah. And then like it's radio silence, and then he'll post, and he's like in Egypt.
Yeah, no kidding. I talked to him for like about an hour. I think it was last week or maybe the week before. We were and he says, I want to come to Nashville and sit down and spend a couple of days. I'm like, well, what's your schedule look like? Well, right now I'm at a beach house in Stuart, Florida, and then after that we got to go to China for 2 weeks. And
wow.
I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, how come I'm not at a beach house and I'm not going to China for 2 weeks on vacation?
Who knows, man?
He's living the dream.
Yeah. And you're 100% right. He's very family centered, and again, I love that so much about these guys. And again, we got to meet Jonathan Drew. The PCA was so kind of obviously the highlight was getting to meet you and shake your hand.
Was it your first PCA?
Yeah, that was our very
yes.
We somehow we conned them into letting us in, and they even said we could come back next year. So we must have done something right.
Yeah,
that's awesome. It's a great show. It really is. I mean, I remember my first. It was called RTDA at the time, Retail Tobacco Dealers of America.
Wow.
And my first show was in 96.
Man.
And I had just been working for CAO for like literally 2 months. And then the next thing I know, I'm like in this convention center in Cincinnati, and like Cigar Aficionado magazine's across from us. And I'm seeing all these guys I've read about in the magazines. I'm just like a kid. I'm like, oh my God, this is like insane. Like I was just like, this is the coolest job ever. I just remember that. And that's actually the show I met Pete Johnson.
Yeah.
Pete and I started our friendship in 96 at that show.
30 years.
And that, I had that same feeling. And again, it's, Instagram has such a great cigar community on it. And you see all these people and you're fortunate enough to get to interact with some of them. And then it's like, you meet them in person and it's like, wow, these guys really do exist. And and especially at the PCA, because you're like at the Crowned Heads booth and you turn around and there's Padron. And it's like, wow, it's overstimulating kind of a little bit.
It's kind of crazy. And the thing of it is, like back then there was no social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like for me, it was like I went from reading about Ernesto Perez Carrillo in a magazine to like one day actually having to make a cigar for us. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, how did this happen? But, now the nice thing about social media, especially in the cigar community, is it's made the world a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Where you can connect with people literally like everywhere. And that's been a blessing to the social media aspect. There's a lot of social media that I'm not crazy about.
Yeah.
But that aspect of it, I do enjoy, that it's made a community feel, and it's like you're able to engage with people everywhere, which is really nice.
And kind of we were actually ending our PCA trip, and we were at the Crowned Heads booth as our last stop, and we were getting to say, goodbye to you and Jake and everybody. And me and Justin were walking out of the Crowned Heads booth, and one of our other local shop owners, him and his wife had walked around the corner, and he knows me and Justin. We've done stuff with him. It's a great guy. And he looks at us like deer in headlights, and the first words out of his mouth, he goes, "Who the fuck let you guys in here?"
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
And we started cracking up, and he was just, I said, "Hey man," I said, "we've been asking ourselves that same thing for 3 days.
Right.
How did we get fortunate enough to land here?" But yeah, no, I mean, obviously we could sing your praises for many more hours, but I know you got stuff going on in the warehouse. So I'll ask you, is there anything we forgot to mention? Anything we forgot to ask? Anything you want to bring up? No,
man, I'm good. I've really had a pleasure chatting with you guys. It's been a delight. I look forward to this, and let's not wait another year to do it again.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
we sure won't. No,
don't worry,
John,
man.
It's very nice to meet you, sir.
It's a pleasure, my pleasure, always. Shawn, thank you for all the support, man. Honestly,
hey, listen, I thank you for your friendship. Thank you for being you. Like I said, the world needs more Jon Hubers, and I mean John. That so sincerely. I think that there are a lot of businesses and people that don't take their consumers seriously, and I've not felt loved from a company like I have felt from you. I'm going to say never. I don't, outside of Pipe Mike, who he still keeps me locked out at 5 o'clock in the morning and won't let me come in and buy Moonflowers.
And for good reason.
That's
because if you're in here at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're probably going to get shot.
Well,
be careful, man.
We're going to make it like one of those touch pads where I have my own code to come. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But
no.
Well, and again, Pipe Mike, thank you for sitting. This was special, of course, having John on, but it was even more special because I told John, I said, I want to have someone that's doing it. That's, you're on the ground floor. You're the one selling all these cigars. You and there's Josh, Brandon's over there. And, Mark came in, and like I said, these guys, they are loving this Moonflower, and we cannot say enough good things about it. And again, I thought, well, maybe I'd apologize for all the Moonflower posts, but I'm not going to apologize because there's going to be a lot more to come.
Keep going, man. Let's see how long we can keep this ride this wave.
That's right.
I guarantee it.
So, all right. So, Justin, what did we forget, buddy?
Well, I think we can drop the leg on this one.
We're going to drop and we can remind everybody not to leave those Broadway girls alone, because we don't want to forget about Tennessee Waltz, Law Imperiosa, Broadway, all the fantastic offerings in the Crowned Heads portfolio. All right, Pipe Mike, what do we got? What did we forget?
Nope, just glad to have you guys here. You guys are always welcome to come in and broadcast out of the second oldest tobacco shop in Tulsa.
That's right.
Look at that.
And see, John, your first PCA was in 96. My first cigar was 97 with Justin at the Tobacco Pouch.
Yeah.
Damn.
At the Tobacco Pouch.
So
that's awesome.
Well, Justin, we're just going to go ahead and we'll go out with the Broadway girls, and we'll say
Let's do it.
That's a wrap on this episode of Smokin Sounds. Hey, One-stop shop, SmokinSoundsPod.com, and you don't have to worry. Crowned Heads is already there on the website.
Yep.
Bam. But wait, there's more. We got to thank Dirty Birch Media for powering the website. Hey, listen, if you would, please leave us a 5-star review. It just helps others find the podcast, and that same goes for if you're watching Creekside or the Down to Herf Boys. Community, not competition. Make sure you leave that 5-star review so you never miss a beat.
Or a draw.
Hey, and so until that next light up of a moonflower, keep your cigars lit, your pipes packed, and the sounds smoking.